Well, welcome back to Pets on Parade. Joining us today is one of our adopters, Bill Wood, with his new best friend, Silver, who was previously a shelter pet a while back, and Erica was actually her foster parent. So Erica, just start us off and tell us how she came to the shelter and why you fostered her.
Well, you know, it is funny. I went into the volunteer office one day and they said that they had just gotten this little chihuahua that had come in. The behavior department actually evaluated her and said, you know, she's just so tiny and so small that she's not really doing well in the shelter. She's super, super scared.
Right.
And so they decided that they were going to put her into what's called a safe home, which is saving animals from euthanasia.
Right.
And they put her into my particular home, and let me tell you, 2 days and she was already right at home. She was the sweetest girl. She's potty trained. She was very obedient, got along with all my other dogs, not too yappy, not too needy. Perfect little Chihuahua dog.
Then why did she go so long without a home? How long did it take her to finally meet up with Bill here who came along?
I think it was like a month and a half to 2 months, and I think it really was because she was on the internet, so people couldn't come down to the shelter to see her.
Right.
They actually had to come down and make an appointment. So I think that was the main reason it took her so long.
Right, okay. So then Bill enters the story, and we're so excited that she's doing so well, but tell us what attracted you to her in the first place. How'd you hear about her?
I had had a Chihuahua before for about 13 years, and he had passed away, and it was about that time where I'd started looking for dogs again. I'd been to a couple of adoption fairs, and I was going on, like about once a week I go into the AZ site, and there's always lots of Chihuahuas on there, and I was always looking for one, and I always look at the Lonely Hearts Pets on the first page, and you know, I'm always nicely put looking for a bargain, and some of the older dogs they adopt for less fees and things, so that's what initially got me there. But as soon as I saw her, I don't understand it either. The only thing I can think of is maybe she was stressed and sick in the shelter, and when people saw her there, they didn't see the same dog that was in that photo or the same dog I met, because she's probably the best Chihuahua you could get.
And that's what happens with that's why we have that SAFE program. It's just for dogs like Silver who get completely stressed out and overwhelmed with the whole shelter experience, and we ask volunteers and foster parents like Erica and all the other SAFE fosters to help with that. So how is she doing in her new home? We're all just dying to hear.
You know, she's doing great. You know, I've tried to get her to go outside, which is not a big deal to me. We have a place she can go inside, and she came paper trained. That's a big benefit of adopting a dog that's, you know, a couple of years older.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I've had puppies before, and that can be a lot of work. If you don't have that time, sometimes getting an older dog that's already housebroken and used to being around people and other pets and things can be a big benefit, especially when you're introducing them to a family and things like that.
Yeah, we like to call those instant dogs, right? Just blend them right into the household.
Well, I mean, she was certainly that. Like, you know, we put her down. She uses puppy pads, and she's made 2 mistakes in a year. So, you know, she goes on the pad all the time. So, trust me, I've had dogs that weren't so house trained, and you know, that's what I say. You know, make sure it's going to be a good match for you and what you have going on in your lifestyle. And for me, I needed one that would go indoors on paper, and that was a big thing for me. That's why I like smaller dogs.
Right. Well, we're so glad that she's doing so well in her new home. She looks very spoiled and pampered, and she's looking great. So thank you so much for adopting her and giving her such a good life. We really, really are glad to see that she's here on the show today. And of course, we have so many lonely hearts. So of course, you can go to our website, and under the featured pets page, we have a whole list of lonely hearts right now that are looking for homes, that have been at the shelter for a very long time. So you definitely want to start there if you're looking for a pet and see if any of those meet and fit with your family, and then go from there. So again, thanks for being here, Bill. We really appreciate it. Silver, it was so good to see you again, Missy.
No problem. It was nice coming in here, and I really like to thank people like Erica who foster the dogs and get them out of the shelter, because I remember with some groups on Facebook, and I see the dogs that don't make it, and there's a lot of dogs that need adoption. Before you go buy a puppy at a store, go to the shelters and shop for a dog and look for a dog there first.
I'm so glad you said that. Thanks, Bill. She's a good advocate for our shelter. Well, stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to have some lonely heart canines for you to meet. We'll be right back.